Welcome to a special edition of Flips and Bricks where I'm going to tell you how Supreme got evaluated at $1 billion. It's much more complicated than just a bunch of guys sitting in a room, or is it? So to really understand how a brand is valued, we have to look at the international rules for this. So we got out the big board. So all valuation happens because of this rule, the ISO 10668. Now, the ISO stands for the International Organization of Standardization. It's exactly as boring as it sounds. Now, this is an organization, it's a non-governmental organization that's made up of 162 countries. It operates in 168 countries, and they have 250 committees whose job it is to create these sort of standardizations for the financial world entirely, the entire financial world. Now, it wasn't until 2007 that the ISO realized, oh, we need to figure out how to, standardize brand valuation. They sort of, as a group, decided they needed to figure this out. It took them 3 years to come up with these rules, and it's sort of ridiculous, and I'll explain why. So they've sort of broken it down into these 6 different aspects that you need to look at in order to get a brand valuation. So these 6 things that it took them 3 years to figure out, that means it took them 6 months for each of these. It all sort of bottles down to the same sort of thing that's going on with the stock market that we talk about in the drop every Wednesday, which is we're just sort of guessing. They're really good guesses, but we're all just sort of guessing. Now, there's 3 main ways to figure out a brand valuation. The first one is cost. What would it cost to build a brand just like this one from the ground up? So basically what the Carlyle Group is saying, if you wanted to tomorrow have a brand like Supreme, what sort of money would you have to put in to build this infrastructure, to build this hype? The other is from the market. What other brands are doing the same sort of thing, are the same sort of size? What are those valued at? The last one is income. And as you can see, there's 6 different ways to figure out the income valuation. Price premium, what is the value of the label? If I were to sell this t-shirt on its own, or if I were to sell this t-shirt with the Supreme logo on it, what is the value difference between those 2 things? And then you can sort of blow that up to be the whole brand. Volume premium, if I had this shirt and it was a regular shirt, or this shirt if it was a Supreme shirt, how many more of the Supreme shirts are gonna sell versus the regular? And it just goes all the way down. Like I said before, all of this is just, it's a mess. I mean, there's a lot of really fancy guys and a lot of really fancy ties trying to figure out what all this stuff is. At the end of the day, it's just what is it worth to you? And so what's really revealing about this Supreme valuation for $1 billion is that that doesn't necessarily mean that Supreme is worth $1 billion. It means that the Supreme is worth $1 billion to the Carlyle Group. And that in and of itself is revealing. Now that that's much more clear, I sat down with Tyler Blake, you guys already know him, to talk about whether or not that makes sense. We're here with Tyler Blake, consultant, entrepreneur, spooky, Halloween,
festive,
cosplay man.
Unofficial streetwear jack-o'-lantern.
Thank you for joining us today.
You can flash that up, perfect. No problem.
So we want to talk to you because you have made a business, a career out of sort of understanding how not just the resale market works, but just how sort of retail sort of collides with culture.
Sure.
How did you start that? When did that start to become a job for you?
I think for me, it started with trying to find an outlet for people that had similar interests with me. And it took a while into my adult life to find that outlet. And it really started in college. Went to Babson, all kinds of entrepreneurial people there, and I was like, wow, just kind of connected the dots. How could I make a business out of the stuff that I really enjoy? Right. And that really became the lens that I saw sneakers and clothing.
Okay, so obviously it's a culture and a community that you're already a part of. Mm-hmm. But stuff's coming out every week, yeah. And some of it's gonna pop off and some of it's not. How do you gauge what you think is gonna work?
Well, a reselling consultant, which is a real thing if you ask sneaker Twitter. It really depends on what the brand's trying to do at that moment, right? So we saw Jordan, they're saying, hey, we're doing 2,300 pairs of this, limited production. They're announcing it as hey, there's not many of these, act fast or it won't last, you know? So you look into that, and you also try to say, you know, okay, they put a lot of energy behind this, but now it's on sale. NMD prime knits, when they first started selling out, now you're starting to see them 20% off. So I'm not trying so much to be in the resale game as I am to help other people be most cost effective with like the money that they have to spend.
Sure.
So something like kicks under cost, where I'm trying to like gauge, yo, jump on this and buy it. You see buy, or is it better to wait? So you're looking at all the past releases, the colorway, the design, how it did versus that history, and then applying that to make a decision.
Right, and so, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about how to buy to resell for a higher price.
Sure.
And I guess it's the opposite. It's the same mechanism. You're just looking at it through the opposite lens.
Yeah, it's the same but different, right? Everyone wants to have a pair of sneakers to wear, right? So like the Kith Pippin, I wasn't sure if it was going to sit, but I knew, you know, you look in, is Nike going to have it on their launch calendar? They don't. Kith exclusive. If I don't buy now, I might have to pay resale. How much resale? It turned out not being that much, but the right decision was to buy then. Right. Air Max 95 wool that came out today, I love the colorway for it, 170, but a lot of the other ones have been 20-30% off. I'm going to hold off and pump the brakes on that.
Right.
So whereas if I'm looking for something to wear, I'm gonna say, how can I spend the least amount of money on it? If I'm looking for something to flip, Supreme North Face leather jackets, almost $1,100 before tax, you know, I'm okay on that.
Right.
You know?
One of the flips that I think about a lot when I think about you and sort of your advice is Jordan golf cleats. Because it was one of those things that, you know, no one was paying attention to, but you knew was going to resell.
Yeah.
Can you sort of talk about that shoe in particular?
Well, I got in a lot of arguments with people too, because one of the things that I've realized is, as you have meetings with different people from various businesses, and all the dads are seeing their kids buy stuff, and the number one question I got asked is, where can I buy these? And they'd show up a photo of a player exclusive Jordan cleat that's not available. I said, well, you know, you could buy the model and get them recleated and do that, but it's a process. And obviously most people that golf, white, affluent, have money to spend. So when the Jordan 1, one of the most iconic golf shoes, come out and everyone has it, you know, reserved to the confirmed app or whatever it is, and they're not buying, they ended up going on .com, people slept, just bought them all up and ended up selling most of them for $350, $400, where people just overlooked. Retail, I think, was $180 or $200. So really, really good for something that you didn't have to have a bot to buy. And the other thing too, Nike.com, if you buy something and want to resell or get started, free returns. So as long as you can float the money, you're really not taking a risk on it at all.
Do you think that just a normal kid can or should consider reselling as a sustainable first or second job? You
know, you can be opportunistic about it, but in terms of the consistency that it used to be a sure thing, things are not as sure as they used to be. Right. So what we talked about earlier, if you go through a website where you can have the ability to kind of like loan you the shoe to do it, if you have a small amount of money to start up with, thrifting and secondhand is so big right now with a really small amount of money and a lot of persistence going to check. You have a much better chance of finding a cool vintage band shirt or something and selling it for crazy profit and building up to that point.
And by crazy profit, you mean like from
buy it for $2, sell it for 20.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sustainable. So like that would be the advice, because obviously there's kids that watch a show, 13, 14, 15 years old, that are trying to, how can I start something? A little bit more viable than taking a risk on a $150 Supreme thing, and we don't know how many they're making, that sort of thing.
Don't take all of your bar mitzvah money and try to put it in Yeezys.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, I think that's what Benjamin Kicks did, and he made it.
Right, but you may not be able to get all those shoes.
Correct. It's not necessarily a sure thing.
Right.
Correct.
Go with the sure thing.
Yeah, or you know, work within your comfort zone. Don't put all your eggs in one basket quite yet.
So obviously we just talked to Tyler about whether or not it makes sense to make your side hustle your job. Now, you may remember a couple months ago, Wealth Simple, that online investment company, posted up a billboard across the street from the Lafayette Supreme store that said, "Cop, Flip, Invest." And then at the bottom of it, it had their website that said wealthsimple.com/30 Thursday, which you know is Supreme Day. That's the day that everything goes on sale at Supreme. Now, their pitch, if you go to that site, is that you can use your lineup, your interaction, your purchases at Supreme to create $1 million based off of flipping and investing. But before everyone gets, really excited about this, their numbers are a little iffy. Now, there's a lot of explanation that they give as to what you can buy, what you can use to make a whole lot of money. But to make that $1 million over the course of time that they're talking about, you need to profit $10,000 in a year. Now, the average flip of an average product from Supreme is only $67. So if you want to make $10,000 over the course of the year with $67, it's 149 different products, which is 3 a week. Now, you probably don't have the time unless you are spending a lot of money on bots or you don't have a job so you can be the first in line every week to be able to get that many products that resell that high. So this is a really great way to have some fun, meet some new people, make some extra money, but don't put this, on your billboard as being you're gonna have $1 million in X amount of years. Better to get an education, get a good job, and focus that way. That's it for the special edition of Flips and Bricks. Thanks so much for staying with us. I hope you guys took some notes, and if you didn't and you still have more questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comments below.